You know, the greatest con in American history, or the greatest con in America, is politicians and billionaires convincing you that the starving single mother on welfare is a threat to your happiness and freedom, versus the billionaires that are worth hundreds of millions of billions of dollars that tell you that she's the one that's making your life miserable.
Alright, we live.
We live.
We live, you know what's going on.
We doing interview style this time though.
Back in the building, you know what's going on. There's a little cameraman behind the camera. Surrender in the building. It's the Unpopular podcast. We got Lummy G in the building too. Today.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, it's been a long day. It's the 7th?
6th.
6th of February.
6th of February.
Black History Month for everybody.
It's the shortest month of the year. No, whatever the fuck.
Not fair for them to give us Black History Month on that day, on that month of the year.
They did that shit on purpose anyway. Every month is
Black History Month as far as I'm concerned.
Well, Black history is American history, Davian.
That's right. Damn sure it is.
It's like, why do we have to separate it and like choose to only celebrate it and acknowledge it 1 month out of the year? Why can't we teach it, year round in school and also let people know, like, that we're a part of this damn system and we're a part of this fucking country and shit.
Black Lives Matter isn't only just for February. That's damn sure right.
Yeah. But then fucking Trump's dumbass and his bullshit this morning with the fucking Obama video. Yo, it's getting to the point where it's like, bro, could you imagine if the Obama administration like actually made like videos like this back then, or even did even remotely half the shit that like he did or he said? Can you like imagine that?
Nobody would be able to be in this position being this immature.
Right.
Being the president is such a high class position.
Prestigious position.
You're representing the country.
Yeah. And you're representing the country by being a fucking low class knuckle dragging fucking babbling baboon or some shit like that, my nigga. Like, what the fuck, bro? And worst of all is like, bro, like you 76, bro. You're or like 78, whatever the fuck your age is. You're past your mid 70s and you're acting like that. Like, how is that normal, bro? Like on some real shit.
I mean, considering how I see some old people act, it's not really far off, but I don't.
So you're saying old people like act even worse as they get older?
People get more angry with age. Yeah.
But what does anger have to do with it? Like that's just being childish. He's being childish though.
Some people don't mature with age too.
But like, you see, I saw this one video one time where somebody said that like between like 30 and like 50, like that's like the shit gets real years, right? But then like something after like 65, like you just become so much more immature than you were in your teens and shit. I'm wondering how accurate that is. You feel me?
Yeah, probably accurate.
That like once you turn 65, you just get like significantly more immature.
Yeah, I think once you turn like 70, you don't have to give a fuck anymore.
You sure about that?
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Because that's a little dangerous to say, Davey. Because like the people to not give a fuck about. But here's the thing: like not give a fuck about what though? Because if you say about life, that's a little bit crazy.
I'm not saying about life. Maybe I should be more specific when I say don't give a fuck. You don't have to give a fuck about. Not to say like other people, but like the shit that you say for real.
So it sounds like to me you're almost justifying like what Trump kind of did this morning. Then
not that you have to.
It's like
old people tend to just let loose a little bit more when they get older. But I don't think it's a have to. I feel like you should.
They just do it anyway.
They just do it anyway.
Live it their way.
But I think it would come with age. I guess for this generation that's older, they've lived through and seen a lot of shit and have a lot of shit to say about everything else that's going on.
But I don't think that's justification for you to say something crazy like that.
I'm not saying any of it is justified. I'm not saying any of it is justified. I'm just saying that's what they do.
Yeah, but even still, like you should still be mindful about that and be like, yo, like tread how you walk, my nigga. Like, watch what you say, bro. Like, you can still be limiting your words despite like you're in your 70s and shit. Just because you're 70 doesn't mean you can say like, fucked up things.
The thing is, there are examples of people who are older who do use their words better. I mean, there are evidence of people who work in politics who are older who have a better choice of their words.
But they never see the spotlight though, because unfortunately America is filled with a bunch of fucking idiots that prop up dumbass politicians to represent them.
I think the problem is that the dumbass idiot is getting the spotlight.
I just said that.
Yeah, I know, but it's not that the other ones aren't getting the spotlight. I think the fact that the dumbass idiot is getting the spotlight is the big issue at hand.
Yeah, but no, Davey. It's always been like that. We always reward dumbass politicians, and we always scrutinize and criticize the more competent ones. Like I was watching a video recently about like Mayor Mondami, and there was a woman that went on a bus and she was trying to make a clip, trying to like look cool and shit, where she was criticizing the fact that the bus fare went up 10 cents since he took office. But here's the thing that people don't understand: that price increase wasn't because of Mondami. That was 4 days into his term, right? Because what people don't realize was that policy and that price increase or that price hike for the bus fare was already signed into law when Mayor Adams was the mayor, and people don't realize that, so they're blaming it on Mondami. And then even other people are making videos of like all of the trash being piled up and shit, on the street, and they're blaming him for it. It's like, dude, he's only been in office for less than 2 months. He can't do that. He's not responsible for that. That was an accumulation from years of bad policy. That's like blaming him because, God forbid, like a bridge in New York either collapses or breaks down. That's because the bridge hasn't been maintained in decades. That's not his fault. But you're gonna blame it on him because he's in office and you don't like him, so you're gonna find a justification to just hate him even more. That's how stupid people are in America. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean? And people believe that because that video of that woman on that bus, it got over 1 million views, and people like actually believe it. Like, that's scary.
People, it's inevitable that people get mad. They need somebody to yell at and point the finger at.
But is that an American thing for us to just get perpetually angry all the time, or is that just like a human thing?
It's a societal thing.
Yeah, but like I don't,
Comes with people with grievances.
David. I don't think that other countries have this problem with being perpetually angry all the time. I really don't.
Well, I think
You can't tell me that like
other countries have different problems.
yeah, but they're not angry about it in the way that Americans are angry about everything. I'm pretty sure people in Finland are not losing their shit over like whatever the fuck's happening over there.
No, but they're probably a lot happier for different reasons because they have less shit to worry about in other aspects.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure countries that have free healthcare have a lot more smiles on their face.
Yeah.
On a regular basis.
Yeah.
You know.
The greatest con in American history, or the greatest con in America, is politicians and billionaires convincing you that the starving single mother on welfare is a threat to your happiness and freedom versus the billionaires that are worth hundreds of billions of dollars that tell you that she's the one that's making your life miserable. That's the greatest con in the world.
Yeah, I had a take like that a couple of years ago. I was like, something about like the white man who owns the whole block feels threatened by the homeless man sitting on the corner.
Right. That's actually a really good point. That's actually a really good point because it actually really is true because like it goes into that idea of like what's it called? NIMB. It's NIMB, not in my backyard. So it's like people don't want to see certain things that they don't agree with or they just dislike within their communities or in their backyards and shit. And it's like the crazy thing is, America is supposedly a country about personal freedom. What people don't understand about personal freedom is that personal freedom is not about what you want to do, because that's just common sense. Everybody wants to do what they want to do as long as it doesn't harm somebody else. But then the flip side of it is personal freedom is really about you allowing another person to live how they want to live despite your disapproval of it. You know, like we smoke weed, right? Personal freedom is truly about someone who doesn't like weed letting you do it as long as you're not harming somebody. You smoking weed in the comfort of your own home is not harming anybody, and you just you watch TV and go to sleep, and wake up the next morning and go to work, right? That's what personal freedom is. If I don't like it, my respect for your personal freedom is to allow you to do that and not call the cops and have them break into your house and arrest you. You know, people don't know what personal freedom really means. They only really apply it to themselves and what they want.
Absolutely, absolutely, and don't take the seriousness to all threats until it comes knocking at their own door.
Yeah. Like, what's an example of that though?
As an example of something like that.
Yeah. Can't think of another.
No, I can. Maybe it's a little bit broader, but unarmed people get shot by the police all the time. I'll say black people, to be specific. Unarmed black people get shot by the police all the time, or whatever. And it doesn't really strike the hearts of everybody to stand up and be like, we should do something about this, until, for example, when these ICE individuals started shooting people in Minneapolis, and these individuals were white.
Yeah.
Started a lot of uproar and people wanting to
Well,
solutions.
well, David, not necessarily, like, because I think that's a little different, because like there's been like an outcry when unarmed black people have been shot. It's just not covered by the media as much for the most part. But like the ICE agents, shooting the people in Minneapolis, that also got a lot of outrage. But I do think it's like still.
And it's getting a lot of coverage.
But no, but it's the same thing with unarmed black people getting shot at. I think the difference is that it wasn't a lot of white people that were kind of like joining in on the march, I guess, to some degree. But at the same time, it's like the thing about this that I always notice with black people is that they get upset about white people not getting involved in injustices like this to some degree. But when white people do get involved, they then get mad and say, "You're white. Why are you a part of our community? Why are you trying to get involved in our problems and not let us solve it ourselves?" There's kind of like, you know what I mean? You ever seen that?
No.
You've never seen that. I've seen that personally. I've seen black people get mad at white people for not standing up and speaking out, but when they try to, apparently that's white people trying to take over the conversation. You've heard that somewhere. I know you have.
No, I know that I've seen conversations of white people using misinformation, feeling like they're more woke and about the cause, or being against the cause, however they stand, But coming from a standpoint of being misinformed, and that's where the disconnection comes from. I think is that they don't seek to understand.
Well, so I agree with you on that. I have seen that too as well. It's like, but then it's like, how do you then have a conversation with a person? Like, and how do you deal with them?
Nature is to want to take over. Like, I can't.
You said what?
In their nature is to want to take over.
Did you really just depict that? It's in the nature of all white people to just want to take over stuff? That's a little wild to say. Like it is a little wild to say that, bro. To say that white people just want to like just take over, or it's in their nature to want to take over things. That's a human thing, actually. If we're gonna be honest about it, you know.
Yeah.
Like, tell me if I'm wrong, Davian. Like, I don't know. Like,
I mean, you're not wrong. I guess I guess that's a different conversation because I'm then talking about disposition.
right. All right. Well, like, what's what do you think is a real issue within like race relations right now? What do you think is really missing in the equation that will truly like make the problems or alleviate the racial tension in this country alleviated? Nice.
Yeah, excuse me. Sorry. I think things always feel divided. You know, things always find a way to feel divided, and it's not necessarily always about race. You know, sometimes it's about you know, financial class. Sometimes it's about social class. Sometimes it's about the area that you live in. Sometimes it's about your how much education you received. You know, but I think as in American people, we still all kind of want to strive for the same thing. We still have some ideal of an American dream that all can aspire to. You know,
Yeah.
that's not necessarily equate to like what America is showing now. It's very like land of, I mean, it's always been the land of opportunity, but it's like it's being more pushed as like a money grab scheme than a
So like almost like a Ponzi scheme, like trying to like grab and just like go.
well, trying to get money and be famous type of thing,
Right.
you know, or get money and live lavish type of thing,
Or get money and like disappear off of society.
whatever you want to do,
Right.
you know.
So it's all about just getting money.
Yeah, that's what we push
Right.
nowadays. But I think there's still an ideal of an American dream that we all can agree and aspire to.
But I do agree with you, Davian. But I think the problem is that like I think it just comes up to like one basic answer. I think it's just like
Your question was like something to add or like take away, pretty much, and setting the scene or setting the groundwork with that. I think something that would help would be to get rid of political parties.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
But do you think that's related to racial relations? Because I know obviously like a lot of black people vote democratically, and obviously Republicans vote white
Yeah,
white, obviously.
sure. And I feel like that it. Well, I feel like it's found itself tied to that a lot of racial ties to those
Right.
those parties.
Okay, so then
That's not necessarily what those parties stand for.
Right.
They stand for more objective standards and
yeah. But then let me ask you this question then. But let me ask you this question then, because you brought that up. Do you find it a little off, for example, of like a black person being a Republican? Do you ever find it off where it's like,
No.
like none at all?
That's where his views might align.
But what if his political views are aligning with a group that doesn't necessarily see him as being a part of their group in the first
That's the
place?
problem.
It's like you want to be a part of this group. Like you're an unpopular kid at school. You want to be friends with the popular kids, and you're just aligning with their views. But they still don't include you into the fold. So like, what's the point? Shouldn't you go where you belong? No. You shouldn't go where you belong. You should go where you're wanted. Is better.
I think the problem is that there is the reasons why this person is being rejected is because it's feeling more well, the way you're describing it is more like cliquish. Like if you don't, we don't think you fit this profile, even though you feel that you identify with this. So we don't accept you.
Well, I mean,
that's something that they can't deny him.
well, maybe I'm referring to it like this. Maybe I'm referring to the idea of like people are supporting a group that doesn't necessarily like want them involved in the group, and they're including them in the fold, not because they actually like want him or her or care about them, but they're using them for political gain, like useful idiots. There, people are supporting them without really understanding what they actually stand for, and that just gets them into office. I'm referring to that,
Yeah.
like clueless people that vote against their own interests, for example, and help the exact opposite of their values win the elections.
That's why I'm saying we gotta get rid of these parties because you're creating a divide between the American people when we all should be standing together. And we just need somebody who's gonna represent us and stand up in this position as the president. Everything. So it shouldn't matter whether he's fighting for this half of the people or this half of the people. He should be fighting for all the people.
But Davian, we did low key have a president like that for 8 years that actually tried to do that. I mean, yes, he was a Democrat, but he still tried to create like an objective American ideal. But it was rejected by primarily white people because he's black.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't tell me that Obama didn't actually try to unify the country to some degree.
Nah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's just the ground that he was standing on, and he had to run Democrat. But when I'm saying do away with the system of separating everything, and just go who's going to lead the country. And if you got two people at the end, you're going to see who's going to win anyway.
Right.
Shouldn't have to be voted whether it's red or blue, or this state is going to be red and this state is blue. Whole country is red, white, and blue.
But don't you think that like we're at a point of no return with that? Where like realistically, like what are the chances that we're going to get to a point to where people are going to abandon political parties? I don't believe that's going to happen.
I'll tell you.
At least not in my lifetime, at
I'll
least.
tell you a way it could happen.
Go ahead.
If we thinking about technology, thinking about AI, right? Now, basically, we're all a number, essentially. You know, it.
We're going to clip this out, David.
It's all right. But I'm saying, like, basically, we're all a number, man. Like, there's gonna be a system in place to where like what is the party, what is the purpose of the parties even serving?
Most likely to just like adhere to certain value systems, I guess, or whatever the fuck.
All right. Yeah. We cherry picking.
Yeah, we always do that. You feel me? Like we always cherry pick about certain things that we want and we don't want, and also things that we're outraged by with the fucking selective outrage bullshit. Because it's like people will get mad at like a female politician for saying something, but if a male politician says the exact same thing, like it's not a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like Davian, like you know me, Davian. I'm a little cynical. I don't think that we're going to be at a point to where we'll be able to effectively remove political parties. I think Americans are too tribal for that. I think we have to have some kind of opposition because, again, like I told you,
Like we need opposition.
yeah, because Davian, we're too diverse of a country, Davian. Like there's too many different like walks of life in this country to really have like I think a collective like unified mindset. You know, like
Of the standard of how of a basic standard of living.
to some degree, Davian, yes, actually. Like Davian, like you go to any other country, Davian, everyone has a collective mindset, Davian, right? Brazilians all think the same in terms of like certain values and beliefs and whatever it is. And then Chileans, like regardless of your political values or your the hierarchy of values that you have, when you go to these different countries, they all have one identity. Americans, we don't really have that in this country. We don't have like a list of 10 different values that all of us believe in. We really don't. You know what I mean? Like liberals, like believe in, for example, abortion, and conservatives don't.
I mean, ain't
And
the damn Constitution.
yes, but that's part of the problem that the founding fathers didn't foresee. They didn't foresee how divided a country could become if you really allow people to really like think for themselves and be able to like develop their own set of values and their own belief systems. And obviously, like I'm not saying that like we need to stop that, but it can be very difficult to live in a country like that. Vivian,
So
imagine
you're
you.
saying under how the Constitution is right now, how the Constitution is right now, still doesn't um, allow for everybody to get off how they should.
Not necessarily. We really don't. Vivian, imagine you live in a house with five other dudes, right? Which sounds extreme, but you live in a house with five different dudes, and all of you have a different set of values, right? How are you guys going to conduct how the house works if you guys have different value systems? It's not really going to be possible. You know what I mean? If you have different value systems, nothing's really going to work. Like within a marriage, you guys have to have the same set of values, and if you don't, it's just not going to work.
Damn marriage, I'm in the house with five guys.
I'm now bouncing from the five guys to marriage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very difficult to live in a house with a person for 30 years, 40 years, and you guys have different value systems.
I mean, one person is different than four, but
But David, it can still lead to a lot of conflict and never ending arguments and disagreements and shit.
I think you should be able to find a way to work with at least one person. You should be, and if not one person, you should be able to find a way to work at least for yourself and get through shit yourself.
I don't see how that makes sense.
We're all citizens, aren't we?
Right.
Individual citizens.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
should all be able to live the same way individually, just as anybody else should.
Yeah, but when does that get to a point to where my individual way of living either offends or disrespects you to where you may want to outlaw or ban what I want to do? Maybe it literally goes down to like whether people agree with smoking weed or people agree with gay marriage or people agree with abortion or not.
So there is some universal standard that everybody's saying or low-key not saying.
Which is what?
I don't know.
So what are you saying that
I
for?
don't know. That's what I'm trying to ask. That's what I'm trying to ask. I'm trying to say that there's some universal standard Feel me? Something that we all can agree on as a country, right?
I don't
A
know.
way that we can all agree on as a country. Like a way that two people can agree on in one household. A way that five dudes can figure out how to work together in one household. A way that a whole town can figure out how to get their shit together. How the whole country can live and everybody can do what the fuck they got to do.
Well, in a country like America, it really just comes down to letting people live how they want to live, despite how you don't, despite whether or not you agree or like it. That's what it comes down to. But people don't do that in this country. Like again, like I just said, people like prime example, best example of this: people who are gay and want to get married and have relations with the same sex. There is opposition towards that, to where it was illegal for a part of American history, and now they're trying to actually redact it. They're trying to take it, trying to undo that. So it's like, why can't you let these people live? Why can't you let them live how they want to live and let them live in their truth or in their reality? You know what I mean? Imagine, despite it's in the Constitution, imagine someone on the left or the government decides that they're going to pass a law that bans like church going or something, or whatever, or the exact opposite. Imagine a school district or a state requires religious teachings in school when the government doesn't permit that, right? But people want to do that, Davian. People in Texas want to remove math and replace it with Bible study. Them niggas are stupid. Remove math for Bible study. Like what? Like that's the world we live in, bro. So like in America, it really is just about letting people live how they want, at the expense of your disapproval. You know what I mean? As long as they're not harming anybody, like literally, or like just like getting offended might hurt you emotionally, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a threat to your life.
Okay, so when I'm saying there's a standard and that we need somebody being in this position that's going to be fighting for this standard that everybody can live up to, that's why we got to get rid of these parties. Because we're cherry picking. Then people are joining together. Feel me? To be in favor, pretty much. And we can't have that when we're trying to get everybody on the same page. We can't have people clicking up on one side, trying to be in favor, when we're all trying to get on the same page as the whole country.
Right. But at the same time, Davian, like I don't think it's gonna like really be possible, because like even without political parties, we still have to deal with political ideology.
Like
We still have to deal with.
You got dumbass in the country, you got dumbass in the country, making everybody think that he's cherry picking for half the country, and he's only cherry picking for the 0.1%.
Right.
In his ass.
Right. Yeah, but like political parties, I don't think it's gonna make a difference in like in terms of eliminating them. It's not gonna make that much of a difference. We still have to deal with political ideology. We still have to deal with left and right wing politics. So like we're still gonna deal with conservatives and liberals, but even without political parties, there's those two sides are still gonna exist. So like even with that, those value systems are different, like objectively. You know what I mean? Liberals and conservatives don't have the same set of hierarchy of values, and they also don't have the same moral compass. Because liberals' moral compass, they put a larger emphasis on harm and care, and conservatives put a larger emphasis on authority, loyalty, and what else? And purity. So the value systems are completely different. You know what I mean? So like when you have one side that values authority more than they do about harm, that's where there's going to be a conflict. They don't care about harm at the expense of preserving authority. More specifically, their own authority and then whatever authority they want to push onto other people. You know what I mean?
Sure, political take, Randall.
My political take.
What's your political take?
My political take. I'm borderline libertarian. Live and let live. Let people live how they want to live as long as they're not, directly harming a person. You feeling disgusted at somebody's like sexual orientation or their choice of drug use or their lifestyle habits doesn't necessarily qualify you to either ban or criminalize those set things simply because you find it disgusting or distasteful or whatever. You don't have a right to do that. If someone is gay and they want to get married, it's really not your business to get involved in their life. Because at that point, like getting involved in their life means also monitoring everything that they're doing, including potentially being in their home and seeing what they're doing on a daily basis. You want to be that invasive to a person? I ain't got the energy to do that. You know what I'm saying? As long as what you're doing is not directly harming a person, to some degree, just let people do what they want. Stop trying to invade people's personal lives.
What does that mean for our public spaces?
Public spaces.
Yeah.
Well, public spaces I think are a little different because public spaces I think can also be dependent on the culture of the actual environment that you're in. Because certain areas might want a certain kind of like appearance or even let's say public behavior.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like there are some towns in Jersey where there's a curfew. Like towns have curfews where like businesses and even kids and people typically are not out past a certain time, whereas other towns are open either all night or they're open a lot later. That's more of like a cultural attitude than it is like um, than it is anything else. So it really just does depend on what the community at hand tends to believe in or tends to support. Some towns and some cities are party cities. Some cities and some towns are quiet areas where after 7 o'clock there's nothing going on. You know what I mean? So I think it's just dependent on like the people that actually live in those communities. But there's also instances, Davian, where there are some people that will like get into public office, like some people that will govern like Jersey City, but they don't even live in Jersey City. They live like 3 or 4 like counties away from it, but they work in that area and they're making decisions about how that city operates while they live 4 counties away from it. You know what I mean? That should be a policy where politicians have to work where they live. Because shockingly enough, Davian, some of them don't. Some politicians, most politicians actually don't actually represent where they actually live. You know what I mean? Like if you live in Bridgewater, you should only be running for public office in Bridgewater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you shouldn't be trying to go to Asbury Park to govern that area if you don't live in that area. Does that make any sense?
No, I don't know.
Because the public, because the community members of that town might,
a representative from there.
yeah.
Makes the most sense.
Well, no. I'm referring to like that community and how they might feel about their town and how they want it to operate in terms of public behavior. Because again, some towns, for example, Davian, like have like Davian, Somerville, we literally have a whole St. Patrick's Day festival where the town shuts down for a few hours so people can walk down the streets. Other towns don't do that. It's just how that town feels. Primarily, most likely because Somerville has a lot of Irish people in it. So obviously they're biased, so they're going to give justification for celebrating the larger demographic of that community. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing with the Puerto Rican Day parade and the Dominican parade in certain areas of New York. It's a higher demographic of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, so obviously they're going to be represented and they're going to be celebrated, which is right. Which also, by the way, is a prime example of the inconsistencies of white Americans talking about, we need to have just American celebrations. But no one bats an eyelash when it comes to celebrating St. Patrick's Day or Columbus Day, who is Italian, and then other holidays that are connected to European history. But we can't do that with Black and Brown communities and Black and Brown histories. You know what I mean? Countries that have that have a large population of people living in the city areas. You know, people get offended at the Dominican Day at the Dominican parade, but it's like, dude, you don't bat an eyelash when it's Irish people. What's the point?
Who is asking for more American holidays?
Stupid white people, Davian. That's who it is. Stupid white people that live in the fucking butt crack of Kansas that don't know anything. That's who.
Well, I'll tell you,
You
that
know?
much. Those people do not speak for the whole country.
Well, technically they do now, Davian, because they voted the idiot in office right now. So they actually are being spoken for.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
They're not being represented, Randall.
Well, to them they are.
Yeah, but that means that just means that their culture is dumbass.
Their culture is dumbass. Well,
They feel good because they hear or see their president on TV talking absolute nonsense. They don't understand shit anyway. So when they hear him go, whatever the fuck he's saying, I mean, whatever the fuck he's saying, I don't know what the hell he's doing, but whenever he's doing all of that, whatever, they're eating that shit up. They're eating that shit up, and that's all they need to. That gets them through their day and gets to go to sleep at night.
how ignorant do you think that part of the country really is in terms of like their knowledge about politics?
I don't think they're that ignorant. I mean, I think there's. I don't know.
Because you just said dumbasses, so
No, I do. I did say dumbasses.
so like you gotta stand on that
I know they're
shit.
eating that shit up. And I know they're eating that shit up. You know? Do I think that they're dumb? No. Do I think that he's.
You just called them dumbasses.
Listen. It's not that they're all dumbasses. It's not just these people in this state. There's dumbasses everywhere. Dumbasses everywhere voted for this guy to get into office. Not just the ones in Kansas.
Well, I didn't just mean Kansas. I meant like the middle of the country.
Nah, I mean, I feel you, but the dumbasses everywhere voted this motherfucker into office. You know? So it's like, do I think people know, do I think dumbasses know a little bit about politics? Yes. Do I think they are they qualified to be politicians themselves? No.
Hell no. I think the most ignorant state that in the union, I think, is Mississippi. I think like they're like dead last, like even like literacy. They can't write or even read over there. Apparently, it's like that bad.
A lot of kids can't write and read.
Read and write.
Right, read and read.
Davian, please be grammar.
Spell it?
What?
Never mind.
Davian, it's read and write, not write and read.
It doesn't matter. We still say
Davian, R comes before W.
R comes before W. When did you ever hear that?
Davian, no one says write and read. Everyone says read and write. Okay. You can't be telling me differently. Come on. Let's not be ignorant. We not in Mississippi.
Where did you hear that though?
Davian.
R comes before W.
R comes before. Yes, it does.
No.
Do you not know the alphabet?
I know that makes sense in the alphabet, but why are you saying it like that's the instruction?
Davian, no one says write or read. Everyone says read and write. Am I wrong?
No.
Like chat, am I wrong?
You're right. But it's not because of the alphabet.
Let me be, please.
It's not because of the alphabet. I realized that as I was saying it. It's not because of the damn alphabet. It's because of the instructions. You read first.
You
and then
read.
You write.
Yeah.
You gotta read what you're writing first.
No, you have to read and then write
You
after
have
you
to
read.
read it first to know what you gotta write.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta read it first.
Yeah, exactly.
Not write and read. Yeah.
Yeah, like who writes and then reads? Like no, seriously, like who writes and then reads? That makes no sense.
I might write and read.
David, you can't write and read, David. You have to read and write first.
I might start writing and reading.
You have to read a book first and then write.
Nah, I might write and read first. I might write. What if I was about to read a book, right? but I wanted to figure out how this book was about to go. So I wrote a summary about this book before I got into it.
That's just stupid.
And I read it.
That's just stupid. Who does that? Like, you're not supposed to do that. You don't write a summary of a book before you read it.
No, you don't.
Like, so what you saying that for?
I don't know. I was just giving you an example of how I can write and read first.
No, you're just arguing back with me. It's like you like to argue.
I don't like to argue. I don't like to argue. We be talking bullshit.
You're like my damn coworker and shit.
You be throwing out bullshit, and I be saying the same shit.
How do I say bullshit?
Because you started talking about R comes before W, and that shit had nothing to do with the alphabet.
All right, so let's go into something funny because we were talking about some pretty depressing shit or whatever it was. Would you rather be able to? Well, what actually? What do you think would be more essential for human beings? Being able to read or being able to write? If you had to choose one.
Being able to read.
Being able to read?
Yes.
You'd have to know how to. So you'd rather be able to read but not know how to write?
Well, if you learn how to read, you'll be able.
No. Like, I'll give you a scenario. Like, you have to choose like one or the other. Like, you can't do the other thing. Like,
why can't I learn? Why can't I write?
because something's just like something just shut off. Okay, like something.
My brain don't work
Yeah,
anyway.
your ability to write is just non-existent. You can either read and not write, or you can write but not read.
That's crazy. I'm gonna have to read.
That's crazy, you said?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read.
Okay,
I guess.
fair enough.
Because, like, what
I mean-
am I writing if I can't read it?
That's a good question. I don't know. But the crazy thing is, Davey, is that like,
You can't write if you can't read.
right?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't write if you can't read.
right.
You just wrote some shit on the paper. You didn't even know what it said.
But like
You can't read it.
but in terms of reading, in terms of reading, does anybody in this room really remember learning how to actually read?
Learning how to read.
Does anybody in here truly remember when they first started to learn how to read?
I was reading when I was like 3. I don't remember how I learned how to do it. But I was reading early.
Fair enough. I think I started reading probably like when I was in like, I think probably like, we see 3rd grade or whatever it was. No, you said 3.
I was like 3.
3. I think I probably.
Big ass Curious George books that look like dictionaries.
What were you reading?
Curious George.
Yeah, but what were you reading? Like, what adventures were you reading about that?
It's just a big ass Curious George book. They got a bunch of different Curious George stories in there.
Oh.
Big, like the size, the book is as big as a dictionary.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
All right,
It's
fair.
Curious George.
All right, fair enough. I remember like I struggled to read for a little bit, but I ended up learning it. But then for some reason, like I went from like struggling to learn how to read to reading like crazy. Like I read a book a week and shit, but it was bad when I was a lot younger. Like I struggled to read so much. And my mom was like, she didn't get upset with me, but like she got very frustrated because like she was like worried that like I was gonna be one of those adults that couldn't read and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Reading was easy. I mean, reading was never a problem. I think writing was always the problem.
Well, you write better as you read. We just talked about that. Yeah, as you read, you just write better. But I think the real issue is that most people can't read past the 5th grade level.
Well, a lot of most kids in school can't read at the 5th grade level.
And here's the thing: what does it really mean to actually be able to do that? Like, so when people say you can't read past the 5th grade level, what does that really mean in terms of like your ability to do that? Like, is it your ability to comprehend what you actually read, or is it your ability to actually like read the words?
Books come in levels. So, you start with books that got pictures in them, right? Then some got words, like just simple words. you know, like dog, or then some got whole sentences that you can read out. Feel me? Then some got a story that gives you a continuity from the beginning to the end. Then you get at least to a book that has like a continuity book is like a Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah,
Sort of thing. Feel me? So it's gonna have bigger words that they're gonna have to be able to sound out. But I would say like a Dr. Seuss book is good for like a first grader.
A kid's not gonna know what 50 Shades of Grey is about.
The kid's not gonna know what 50 Shades of Grey's about.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't comprehend it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Different types of books, different levels, different topics.
You get to like a chapter book
yeah,
that's more like second, third grade.
yeah.
Like your first chapter book is like second, third grade.
Mm-hmm.
You know, by the time you get to like fifth grade, you know, most kids like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Feel me?
That's not even like a challenging book though. That's only fine.
Nah, for me, but because you're in the fifth grade. You feel me?
Yeah,
You're in the fifth grade.
yeah,
A fifth grade level book is Harry Potter
yeah.
type shit. That was the question you asked. And most kids can't pick up Harry Potter.
Most adults can't. Like, I mean, they can't really. They probably can't tolerate reading fucking Harry Potter past like 2 chapters. They'll just get irritated reading the shit.
I see all types of crazy videos of just showing the illiteracy in schools nowadays.
Join. You said what? Join the.
Showing the illiteracy.
Showing the illiteracy.
In schools nowadays.
Right.
Like kids are writing. Kids don't know how to spell. Kids don't know how to spell. They don't write complete paragraphs.
Yeah.
They're writing emojis.
They're writing
They're writing emojis.
What do you mean writing emojis? Like they're writing out smiley face?
No, like drawing a smiley face or a thumbs up.
They're drawing a smiley face
Or a thumbs up.
or a thumbs up. How do you draw a thumbs up? You can't draw like I'm good. You can't write I'm good or something like that.
They don't follow instructions. They can't follow instructions.
Yeah.
Are y'all good at long division?
No,
I can.
I'm not good at math.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not good at math at all.
If I give you a long division problem right now, you can figure it out.
I could try. Yeah.
I'm not good at math, so don't look at me.
As long as it comes out to an even number, or like a whole, not an even number, a whole number.
So the answer is no.
As long as it comes out to a whole number.
Dude, I'm not good at math, so like you're on your own.
Nah, it's cool.
Don't give me no decimals.
I'm not good at long division either.
Yeah. But also at the
I'm
same
good at math. I learned that yesterday.
but also at the same time, bro, like none of
I'm not good at long
bro, real talk, like on some real shit, none of this is our fault though. Like our generation not knowing how to like even read or even write or comprehending certain things, as well as also like doing mathematics. That isn't our fault. That's the fault of the dumbass teachers that didn't teach us shit.
Hey man, listen, I know math. I retain a lot of math.
I don't know math.
I retain a lot of math.
I can't do math to save my life. Like literally, like if you give me a math equation, like I will actually die.
I know a lot of math. My issue nowadays is with history class. I always really didn't like history class.
You see,
It always felt adjacent to English.
I'm different, Davian. Like so, like you're good at math, I'm good at history.
I did not like history class, and what I don't like about thinking about history class nowadays is like there's so much information that's coming out and being uncovered that makes history class seem so pointless now. Because it's like there's so much information that was omitted that we now know that we were taught in history class, or
Yeah.
something in history class has come out to be not true.
Well, it was partly because like they just deliberately,
or misrepresented.
yeah, they did that, and they also deliberately lied to you because like, especially in American history, because they don't want you knowing things that they did and shit like that. Like,
It wasn't about to teach kids the shit that they was doing.
yeah, or giving them knowledge about what actually happened, because obviously they're embarrassed or they're ashamed of their history and shit. The fact that like we had to learn about like, for example, like the fucking Tuskegee experiments, you know, in Oklahoma and shit. We had to learn that about that as adults, and we weren't taught that in school. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, I didn't have a
Yeah.
class like that until I was in high school.
Well, no, like I didn't learn that at all. Like I didn't learn shit. I didn't learn until I was in my early 20s.
Oh wow.
Like yeah, like I didn't learn that shit until I was in my fucking early 20s. I didn't learn about the 19. I didn't learn about the Black Wall Street bombings and shit like that. I didn't know about that at all.
Oh wow. Yeah, no.
You had a class like that?
I had a class my senior year. It was called Holocaust and Genocide.
Oh wow! Oh, lucky you. All right, all right. You know what? Not lucky you, but like, all right, like lucky that you got that information. I didn't.
I got taught that was one of my favorite classes. It was fun.
Yeah.
The teacher would just come in class and
How much time we got left?
it's been 55.
Huh?
It's been 55 minutes.
All right, we're good. Yeah, we're good.
All right, well, it's been a good interview. You know what's going on.
Yeah,
Who's the cameraman behind the camera?
we'll be back next week.
And Randall in the building. We'll be back next week. We'll see y'all later.